Hello, ladies and gentlemen. I'm David King.
I'm Fred Cilbrith.
I'm Dave Ryan.
Welcome to Keeping It Real. I just want to start by saying, first of all, Fred, my condolences to your grandma passing away.
Thank you.
I know it's been rough on you, and as your friend and partner on and off screen, I'm here for you if you need anybody. And of course, Dave's here as well.
That's right. My condolences as well to you and your family there.
I appreciate that.
So, with that said, Fred, you want to introduce our guest today?
Well, folks, today we have a voiceover talent by the name of Randye Kaye. Randye, welcome to the show.
Hi, Fred. How are you?
I'm great. How
My
are you?
condolences, too.
Thank you. So, why don't you tell the folks at home how you got started doing voiceover?
Okay, well, I've been a voiceover talent for ever since my son was born, and he's 33, so that's quite a long time.
Shout out to
I've always wanted to be an actor, and I'm happy to say that I've made a living doing acting. And when I was with child, it becomes a little bit difficult to make a living as an actor. So I started thinking about what can I do that doesn't require appearance quite so much. So my other actor friend suggested that I start doing voiceovers, at least while I was pregnant. And I loved it so much, I never really went back. And I do other forms of acting as well. I do theater, I do film and TV occasionally. I do broadcasting as well. But ever since I started doing them, voiceovers have always been a part of my career.
folks, I can tell you, I've gone to
It's okay.
Randye. I've seen her son Dan every once in a while, and every time I see her, she's voice recording something or she's doing something with voice recording, so it's pretty cool. But
Yeah.
what do you think it takes to get into voice recording?
Well, first of all, it takes acting skills. You have to be someone who can not just read. I get people coming to me all the time saying, I
Yep,
have a
oh
nice
dear.
voice, I can go into voiceover. And I explain to them that that's good, but it's like saying
Okay.
that every pretty person can model. That's not always true. Just because,
That's very true.
right. You
Yeah.
have to have skill. You have to know how to walk the runway. It's like
Dave.
Nah, not me. But I mean, what you're saying is right. I mean, to do to do anything, you have to be dedicated to it, and you have to have a personality for it.
Absolutely.
And I believe a voiceover is not just knowing how to read, because anybody could be like, "Hi, my name is Bob," but
Exactly.
to be able to portray a character that Bob is, and for you to make that character believable, it does take a skill to be that character.
As you say, Dave, you need to feel it.
Yes, you have to feel it.
You have to feel it.
Yeah,
Okay.
it's the same thing.
And people don't think about that when it comes to voiceover. They think it's just reading with a pretty voice, but it isn't. If anybody's ever read to a child, if you just read the story and you're not involved in the story,
Right.
the child will say, no, really read it to me. They see right through that. So you can't just pick up a piece of paper and say,
Okay,
once
I
upon
see.
a time there was a princess. A child won't fall for it, and
No
a
kidding.
listening audience won't fall for
Right.
it.
Right.
And
That's a good example.
Exactly.
It really is.
I mean, it's part of. First of all, it's part of entertainment, and that's your key. You want to entertain your audience at home or out and sitting in the crowd, or wherever they're at. You want to entertain them. You want to draw them in, like you said, to what you're doing. I like voiceover. I grew up a big fan of Disney.
Right.
And it took and
We all did.
in the 90s, that was a golden era for Disney. I mean, they were around way before that, but the golden era for Disney was during the 90s.
I
And
believe-
most of that was because of the stories that they portrayed in those cartoons drew people in. Like, you believe when Aladdin was going through the thing to get with Jasmine, or when Simba's dad passed away, and
Right.
you fell for Mufasa Lang there, passed away, and you fell for him coming back to reclaim what's his. People ran with him in the story.
Mulan. Mulan was very popular too.
Yes, and Mulan.
I remember Mulan.
And but I'm saying, well, all those cartoons, you you kind of felt what they were going through. So they
Right.
took you on a journey, they took you on a ride, and I believe that's what you're saying. When it comes to doing voiceover, you want to take them on a ride. You want to take us on the adventure of a
Certainly.
lifetime.
You
Of course
also
it-
want to make us laugh because you want to talk about cartoons. You go to Nickelodeon
Right.
back in the 90s.
Okay.
That was the golden era of Nickelodeon. So there's a lot of good cartoons that came out of that era.
I think Nickelodeon would like to think that they're in the golden era right now. So with Disney, and it's very interesting because when most people think about voiceovers, they think about two things. One, they think about animation, and the second thing they think about is commercials. But the fact of the matter is that combined is less than 10% of the amount of work that's out there.
Okay.
A lot of what I do is not having to do with cartoons and not
Right.
having to do with commercials, although I do both of them. But when you think about anytime you hear a pre-recorded voice that has to be believable for the situation, where in the course of a day do you hear a pre-recorded voice?
Everywhere.
Everywhere.
Elevators, buses,
Elevators, buses,
Well, yeah,
Correct.
think about it like that.
GPS.
Well, yeah.
GPS,
The Siri
If-
voice on your
okay,
iPhone.
for-
everywhere.
I
really.
The Siri voice on the iPhone, that was a huge job for somebody.
Yes, it was.
And let's see, audiobooks are huge now. A lot of people are getting audio versions of the books they love
Yeah,
and
that's
putting it on their
definitely cool.
iPhone or putting it on their iPod or
Right.
their iPad or getting CDs and listening as they clean houses. Just today I was taking a baby for a walk and I had an audiobook on my phone and I was listening to a story because she was sleeping. So the recorded voice, with technology making it so much easier to record than before, there's a lot of things that are pre-recorded. New employee training,
Right.
That's a big one, too.
I mean,
museum tours.
when you pay your bills, I mean, the automated system that kind of walks you
Exactly.
through step by step, even like to program a phone. You know, you don't even have to talk to somebody now to program your phone like back in the day. Okay, or what? No, now you can just it'll be press 1 to do this, then look for this, and then type in this.
Yeah.
But if it just like you said, it has to be believable because the thing just said, okay, here we are, type in this. Let me know when you're ready. You'd be like, all right.
Exactly. I mean, would you rather, even if it is a pre-recorded voice, would you rather be talking to someone that says, press 8 to hear these options again? Or would you rather listen to a voice that says, press 8 to hear these options again? Even if it
Yeah.
gives the impression of being friendly, that is a skill as well. And that's why it's
Yes.
still acting. If the company you're doing even a telephone system for is a toy company, for example, you want to use sort of a perky young mom voice if you want. But if it's a computer company, a financial company, an insurance company, they may want a mature, refined voice.
Right, okay.
So they're going to cast according to what their image is, just like any commercial.
Right.
So you would say that it takes a lot of practice to get your voice in the right tone and the right conveying things right and saying things right to a T.
Yeah, it takes constant practice, constant awareness, I would say. I mean, the example that I give when people say, how do I get into voiceovers? I say, well, are you good at basketball? Yeah, I love basketball. Well, are you going to just go to the Knicks and say, I want to play for you? Like, you know, you
jeez.
don't. It takes time to become a professional and be paid to do the thing that you love to
Right.
do. And a lot of that is drills and practice and technique, and even in the Olympics, those athletes still practice. They still have coaches. You have to stay on top of your game, and at the same time, you have to run a business. So you have to
Okay.
know what area of voiceover you want to get into and how to get into it. You have to have a sample of your work and get it out there and get people to hire you. And
Exactly, and a lot of that you have to people in at home have to understand too. And you know, we talked about it before on the show, Fred, Dave, how when you're trying to work on going towards a career, the beginning is no matter whatever you're doing, it's not all money right away. You're going to do a lot of it just to do it, and you're not going to get paid at all.
Right.
Not even recognized at first for what you're doing.
Right.
But it takes dedication, it takes passion, and of course, it helps if you have a talent and the love for it, because it won't be considered work to you if you actually love what you do. And if you really want it, you can get it, but it's going to take work, and it's going to take a lot of time. And you're going to have to make some sacrifices, and I'm sure it's not easy to get even the skills you got.
Well, my question, what I'd like to ask you too,
Sure.
Randy, is there's the only school that I've found for voiceover and coaching that's available is a school in Vermont. I'm sure there are other places around that one could go to, to receive the proper training, to receive the proper coaching, and first of all, a proper evaluation. You need a coach or someone to tell you to match your voice up with whatever is needed out there.
Mm-hmm.
That's the part that I'm struggling with. You know, it's something I would like to do in my retirement years,
Mm-hmm.
and it's something I really want to learn. People told me a few years ago to be a voice announcer or something like that, be on the radio. They were joking around, but they were kind of serious as well. But I've had voice jobs in the past, and they've all been successful. I've been tech support. I've been a zero operator for the phone company, and a few other places working on the phones. Those have been my best jobs.
So that's great. And
Yeah.
so you obviously have an aptitude for it. Like anything else, it does take, you want to find the right training. You're absolutely right. I don't
Right.
know the school in Vermont that you're referring to. I haven't
No,
heard of anything, but
it's far away.
yeah, and it's the good thing and the big change in the industry is that, you've been to my home and I have a recording studio upstairs in an extra
Wow.
bedroom. So
That's-
that's something that when I started out, you didn't have because it was very, very expensive. Everything was reel to reel, and nobody had, very few people had recording setups in their own home. At the very most, someone who was perhaps the voice of NBC back then might have a booth in his home with a microphone, but he would be set up with an ISDN line to NBC, and they would record him on that end. So the very top echelon, tip of the iceberg guys, or mostly it was guys back then, but some women may have had a booth in their home, but not an entire recording setup. But even in music, as you know, there are more people who are having setups in their own home. You can record on computer.
yeah.
Mics are getting better.
Oh, definitely.
Digital audio
And
workstations
I
are getting better.
I was
So
just gonna say that there's a lot. And going back to your computer technology, now especially when you're recording anything, you can also you can change people's voice. That maybe back in the day, you had to have the voice and it had to be like to perfection. Now, as long as you can at least do it good enough, the machine could fix all the little things to.
And that's true in music. I know a lot of times you can do pitch correct and a lot of
Yeah.
things.
Right.
But in voiceover generally, although, certainly I can, if I yawn, and I can cut things out more
Right,
easily
right.
than you could on
And
reel
at
to
the
reel.
same-
But I can't move paper while I'm talking. Well, I have an iPad now, but there's certain things. There's
Oh,
only so
that's
much a
right.
machine can do, and you
definitely.
generally don't adjust your voice with the machine. You have to deliver the goods on the spot the way it is. The
Right.
exception would be, let's say it's a 60-second commercial and I nailed it, but it's 60.5 seconds. I might be able to compress the time on the file so it's 59.9, but that's only a tiny, tiny percentage. Like, you can't take 65 seconds of copy and make it into 60 because it's going to sound like a crazy manic cartoon character,
Okay.
So there is a little bit of leeway. There is a little bit of advantage, but basically you have to deliver the goods. And not everything is recorded at home, self-directed.
Right.
Sometimes your client's on the other end of the line and they're telling you what they want and how to do it. They may be recording you on their end, or you still may show up at a recording studio and do it there, which I love because you get directed and you get feedback and you're always
Exactly.
better in partnership. But a lot
Yeah.
now is done at home, which is what brings me back to your question, because a lot of people can set up at home.
Right.
They can work from home. They can have clients all over the world. And so it's a
Yeah.
very attractive business for a lot of people. But people think it's easy to get
It's
into.
not. No, it's not.
Well, you have to be good.
Right.
I read some advice once from a book about how to become a stand-up comedian. And the woman, I give her full credit, her name is Judy Carter, and she wrote the Comedy Bible, and she's a great coach for comedians.
Okay.
But she said the trick is get good, get noticed, and get paid. But it must be in that order. Don't get noticed before you're good, and you're not going to
Yeah.
get paid before you
Oh,
get
I
noticed.
know it.
So the first thing is to get good at it. And so looking for a school is a good thing. You just want to make sure that the evaluation is honest.
Right.
And that they're going to give you a thorough education, not just how to bring words to life, but also how
Yeah.
to run your business, how to market yourself, how to record yourself in a home studio, because you really have to kind of run the train, 4 trains on 4 tracks, and they all meet in the center with
Yep.
opening your business. I actually do some part-time coaching for Edge Studio, and they are
that
in New
right?
York, but also they do a lot by webinar, and they used to have a studio in Connecticut, but I work from my home. I coach people by Skype. I coach people by phone.
Great.
But you have to be willing to do stuff outside. They have classes that are done by computer, so you don't
Okay.
have to have a computer, obviously.
That would
But
help.
there's a lot of good books you can read. An
Okay.
excellent one is called "There's Money Where Your Mouth Is" by a woman named
That's an
Elaine
easy one to
Clark.
remember.
It's a really, really good book. Ed Studio has their own vocal performance workbook that you can get. There are many, many blogs out there for free. There's information for free on how to be a voiceover talent. So I would say
Okay.
before you spend any money,
Right.
research the business.
Yeah.
Don't just get a membership in an online site and hope somebody will hire you, because the competition is fierce.
Yes,
Oh,
it is.
yes.
That's what they've been telling me. Join for 1 month for free, and then then it's $36 a month, and this and that. It's not going to help at all. You need something better than that.
You have to also
Right.
know what it is you're offering. Like, for instance, to me right now, you're not reading for me, you're just talking to me, okay?
Exactly,
But you
right, okay.
you have a bit of a blue-collar sound to your voice, and I think that's because I detect a New York or New England type of accent.
New England, okay.
New England, okay. So, but you might have some control over it.
Really?
You might be able to control it, but right now, the way you're speaking to me, I hear it. It's coming through. But
Uh-oh.
but it's okay. If I talk to my brothers, you'll hear my New York accent come out. But when I'm on the radio or when I'm doing a voiceover, I have what you call neutral, non-accented American English.
That's the voice you have to strive to obtain.
You'll work more frequently.
Yeah.
You know, for instance,
see.
and I'm not picking on you, but if I were evaluating,
No,
I'd
but I
say
heard
you
something
didn't
like
say
that.
this, you said dis, and you said
This,
dat.
oh.
Say that. That's
Oh,
not,
I
but
better-
now I know you can control it.
Right,
So
right.
if you were reading for, let's say, a client in Ohio who wants Midwest American English, you have to say this. You can't say
Oh,
dis
I
and
know.
dat.
Okay.
So,
Right.
but
Whoops.
no, it's not a whoops, because that's the way you speak, and that's fine. It doesn't mean you have to eliminate it. It means you
No.
have to control it.
Right.
So that's
Okay.
that's where training comes in, because the last thing you'd want to do is to get a job and then have them not be happy with you because you didn't deliver what they wanted. So
Right, exactly.
it's an awareness.
That's all. Okay.
That's all.
Exactly. It's a learning process.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
It's funny. We do things without even realizing it. That's why
Yeah, that's true.
we're human. That's
Well,
what happens.
especially where the voice is concerned. And,
Yeah.
until you're made aware of something, I recently had to relearn how to walk because I was kind of paralyzed for a year. So one leg was paralyzed. So I had to
Okay.
relearn how to walk, and I was never aware of what the process of walking is like until I couldn't do it. And then they're like, yes, well, you put your heel down on the ground, and then the toe
It's
goes,
the
and
same-
it's like,
well, it's the same. It's the same thing. When I started being in the wheelchair at the age of 13, it's the same thing. I went from walking and doing everything. I mean, I always walked through limp. I always had cerebral palsy. I always had a disability.
Right, like myself.
But when you start being in a wheelchair, you have to transition to learning everything in that form, from
Right.
showering to using the restroom, from getting dressed to getting undressed. It's a tradition. And now if I went backwards and now I was walking again, it'd be once again another transition,
You have to
because
learn
it's been
it
so
again.
many years
Right.
and I've gotten comfortable with a routine and a rhythm. And now it's just okay, I gotta learn how to hold my own body weight again. Okay, now my pants are too big because I'm not sitting down no more. I don't know,
Right.
but it's that kind of thing. So yeah, you're right. It's transition, just like you said, like when you're speaking and like you're saying, for one time they want you to speak proper English compared to your regular English. Even though music is different, it's in reverse. Like I can sit here and I can have manners to say how you doing,
Right.
how you doing. But if I was doing rap music, I have to get a little bit more street. I have to talk more of the street lingo. I have to
Right.
rap this way, and I have to use words that to you maybe like I don't get it, but in the street sense they make a lot of sense. But
Okay.
for what you're doing,
Right.
it goes with what you're doing.
exactly, you're inhabiting a character.
Right, and I have to
Exactly,
be able
right?
to switch
Big time,
from
yes.
being who I am right now to that character on that microphone.
Which is still a little part of you. I've
Exactly.
done radio.
Exactly. It's still a part of you. That's
It is.
exactly.
It's like when I read audiobooks, and I do a lot of audiobooks these days. And so if I'm reading, say right now I'm reading a nonfiction audiobook out loud. It's called Pitbull: A History of an American Icon. So it's all about dogs. And I am reading this book out loud, but the first thing I did was go on YouTube and find some video of the author, so that I'm not trying to be her, but I want to kind of speak her words the way she would speak her words,
Right.
if I can. So even though I'm me, Randye Kaye, I'm also me kind of playing the part of the author of this book.
Yeah.
So that people think you're just reading, but you're reading in a character, just like you when you're doing your rap music.
Right.
When I do radio, when I was on commercial radio, I got to probably be very close to my own personality, especially when I was on the air in the morning with two guys, because I'm the middle child with two brothers, so it was very easy to be that character. It was pretty much me. But now I'm on the local NPR affiliate, and when I'm doing classical music, I have to use that refined part of myself that understands Mozart or pretends to, and so it's a different character. It's still me. It's still the same calm voice I use.
It's just a different version of you.
It's a different version of me, and we all do that. We have party manners, and we have manners with our family, and
we would hope some people.
We would hope so.
Not everybody has that. What can I tell you?
Oh, definitely. I mean, even like here doing this show, I mean, a lot of this is just who I am. Like when I created this show, Keeping It Real, like we had the episode why I named it that. Yeah. Most of it because it's just who I am. I like to, when I talk and I speak to you, if you ask me something, I'll be straightforward how I feel. I'm not blunt, as you know, Fred. I'm we're out with it.
You're very blunt.
So part of even doing this, bringing this to you guys at home, this is just mostly just who I am, even on screen, off screen.
Right.
I am a nice person, but I like to be straightforward. As a lot of you guys know at home, especially when I'm talking about the disability community and all the stuff that we go through, Mm-hmm. So, and that comes from the fact that I have a disability, I'm a part of the community, and I go through it. It's not me just, okay, I'm going to pretend to be this guy that says he has a disability. No, I do live with a disability. I do go through the challenges in the winter of no sidewalks. I do go with the problem that cars are parked at a bus stop and they shouldn't be, or parked in the handicapped
having
spots.
no sidewalks because snow is on the ground.
Exactly. So a lot of doing this is just who I am on a daily basis. But my music, like you said, it's a part of me, and it is me. It's just a more aggressive me. And one thing I love about it too, I can say stuff that I wouldn't say to people because it would be wrong. And on top of that, I'm not hurting nobody at the same time. I'm just kind of relieving myself at the same time.
But within the rap community, it's acceptable behavior, right?
Correct.
I mean, it's sort of a different standard because that's acceptable within that community.
Within that community, yes, it is. But you couldn't just walk up to somebody and say this and that.
No.
But yes, in that community, in that sense, yes, it is. The lingo, as they like to call it, is how you talk and it's what you do, and it goes with the code. And like you said, you study. Just like she says, for you, studying books, learning, be yourself, but try to learn from those who've done this and that, and try to apply it to you.
Right, exactly.
Because you don't want to just become them. Now
yourself.
you're trying to be Edgar Allan Poe, and now Edgar Allan Poe, and they're like, oh, he's just trying to be Edgar Allan Poe. Yeah. You want people to be like, that's Dave Ryan.
It's a wannabe.
But
Poe.
No, it's like that's Dave Ryan. He idolized Edgar Allan Poe, but he is Dave Ryan.
Right. Exactly.
You want to be the first you. You don't want to be the. People are always going to compare you to something. I mean, everything.
You want to take from the greats, but you also want to apply it to yourself and apply it to what you're trying to do.
Right.
And I feel you never stop learning. I mean, I tell everybody at home, you're never too old. You're never too young to learn, and you can never stop learning. Until we're no longer on this earth, you're always capable to learn new things. As long as you, like you say, as long as you apply yourself and you work at it, you can be talented in several different things if you really work at all 7 different things.
I absolutely agree with you. No matter the youngest older people I know are the people who don't stop learning. They're the people who are fascinated by everything, that just want to, I'll learn about that. And that's what I love about my work is that I get to become an expert in something for about a week, and then I like learn about how to report greenhouse gas emissions because there are e-learnings about that. I learned about how to become an open fire burning official in the state of Connecticut because I did an e-learning about that. Now I'm learning about pit bulls. I never knew about that before. I'm learning about chakras, or when you read a fiction book out loud and you get to play all the characters and find all of those characters within yourself. It's fascinating work and so much fun, but it helps to be fascinated by everything and
definitely.
to want
I guess
to keep
it would
learning.
be,
Yeah.
Because when you get bored with something, then it comes out monotonous, insincere, non-interesting.
Definitely.
Right, and part of your job as a voice talent is to be interested in it yourself, so that you convey that interest to your listener. It's always for benefit of your listener. It's always for their benefit, and that keeps
That's
your work
right.
alive.
You want that audience.
And
You want that audience to really pay attention.
Yeah, to be happy.
We want to
Right.
keep them engaged.
as always.
Engage. That's the word I'm looking for. Thank you.
And while we're at it, like as always, we always want to remind you guys can watch this episode and other episodes on our YouTube page at Keeping It Real with David King. You can also email us at our email address that you see at the bottom of your screen. We also have a Twitter page that you see at the bottom of your screen, and also a Facebook page as well that you see at the bottom of your screen. Give us your feedbacks on this show, other shows, and what you'd like to see more, what you'd like to see less, or just to say hi. For whatever opinion, we love to hear from you guys all the time, because without you guys, we couldn't be here every
Right.
week doing what we do, and
Very
we really
true.
do appreciate it. But okay, I'm sorry. I just wanted to remind the viewers
No,
at home.
that's you got to do it. Put the promo in there, absolutely.
That's what it's about. Keeping it real,
Oh,
That's
definitely.
we keep it real around here.
I mean, definitely. But I mean, everything. Fred writes books, and he's on the verge of writing his book about living with a life with a disability, and I think that's
Really?
really
That's
cool.
I just somewhat finished chapter 1 yesterday, so I'm kind of proud of myself.
Congratulations.
Good for you.
Fantastic. That's a
So-
milestone.
Yeah. Couple months.
Do you have a title?
The chapter 1 is called Born Disabled.
She mean for the book.
And what's the chapter? What's the book
Oh, for
title?
the
Do you have
book.
it? I say that's a no. That looks like there is no title yet.
Yeah, exactly.
huh?
I don't think
Or
there's a title.
several titles.
There's a couple titles.
Okay.
It's up in the air.
Yeah.
Okay. I mean,
Good
but
for you.
Wait.
Yeah.
Sorry about that.
Uh-oh.
The title of the book is called Defying the Odds.
Oh, okay.
okay.
Nice.
Can't wait to read it.
Call that a working title.
Yeah.
Because it could change. As you start writing your chapters,
Exactly.
you might
Yeah.
find that the framework of the book changes a
Yeah,
bit.
you're
So
right. You're
Defying the
Exactly.
Odds is nice. Nice.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's right.
Titles change, but then it changes the framework.
Exactly. And that's part of the creativity.
Yeah.
My title changed like 3 times before I finally came
What
up.
was the original title of the album, Dave?
The original title was just going to be called Life with Disability until I titled it The War Zone. But we'll have to get
Oh,
into that another time. But,
Okay.
coming to the end of the show, so anybody here any last words, Freddie, Dave, or...
Well, just keep an open mind and everything. It's great to learn new things all the time, and there's always something to do out there. Just you have to look real hard at it. Find out what you like to do, get some ideas from friends and family, and the outside, and hopefully you'll be able to get somewhere.
Very well said. Well, with that said, we're pretty much out of time. So, I'm David King.
I'm Fred Cilbrith.
I'm Dave Ryan.
I want to say thank you for coming on the show. It's been a pleasure having you.
It's been a pleasure being here.
And
Thanks,
of course, it's always
guys.
a pleasure seeing you guys each and every week. With that said, have a good night.